You are tuning in to Financial Fitness Northwest live on 1150 KKNW, where we're here to help you navigate the mortgage and real estate market with expert advice from knowledgeable and trustworthy industry professionals. So thank you so much for joining us. Right now here in studio, we have Chrisy Meeker of AAA Washington Insurance. Chrisy has been with AAA for 8 years and in the industry for 10 and a half. She's licensed to help anyone in Washington State with their home, condo, auto, life, and small business insurance needs. Her office is located in Issaquah, where she is active in the chamber. She's also served in many leadership roles in a professional business networking group in Covington, where she grew up. She is a big Seattle fan, I know, because I saw her in her Seahawks jacket when she came in. Her and her husband are season ticket holders to the Seahawks and love rooting on the Sounders. So welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
We're so glad to have you here. It's kind of funny because if you guys were listening, the previous segment, we did touch on insurance. So I thought it was really nice how they, segued into each other. There's so much that people don't know about, these industries unless we bring them the knowledge. And so let's talk about, it's homeowners insurance, but when you're a home buyer, it says hazard insurance.
Yes.
So let's just start with that. What is hazard insurance?
Hazard insurance is basically what the mortgage company calls homeowners insurance.
Right.
So for them, they are worried about hazards that happen to your house. So fire, water, trees, that kind of stuff. They want to know if they're lending you money that investment in you is protected. So that's why they require the insurance.
Right. I'm always telling people it's homeowners.
Yeah, I know, because we always have the conversation between mortgage insurance and hazard insurance,
Yes.
and we have to explain. And I usually say hazard is if your house burns down. And then I think, I hope your house doesn't burn down. That's really sad.
You always want to knock on
when
wood.
you're just going to buy a house, and now I'm talking about it burning to
down.
the ground. But
Or a tree falling on it.
Or a tree falling on it. Yeah, but that's so we get to explain the difference between the mortgage versus hazard a lot. So there's so many funny commercials on television
Yes.
about insurance, so it's kind of funny. I love that new one that's out right now, and I don't even know what insurance company it is, but it's like, what, water damage is not, but the zombie attack. Oh, that would be covered, It's so crazy.
I've heard that one, yep.
But so, like, what is typically covered in a standard policy?
So your standard policy is going to cover fire, water, smoke, wind, hail, tree falling, animals.
Animals like attacking your home.
Yeah, like we've had people that have deer or bear that will run into like glass doors trying to like get inside your house.
Oh, wow.
Or if you have animals that grow homes in your attic space or something like that can.
So any type of animal situation is covered.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. Bees will nest in your walls. And
So, like, if you had to come out and have a rodent service or bee service, or like if there was damage, then you're saying like that could be a.
So insurance is going to cover what is damaged by that peril, whatever the peril is. So fire, water, trees, that kind of stuff. Any kind of maintenance to get rid of the animals, that's going to be just a homeowner cost. But yeah, insurance wants to basically fix your house back to the way it was before the damage happened.
Good to know.
That is good to know.
Yeah.
I didn't know bees lived in your walls.
They can.
That's another thing to watch out for.
So maintenance is a big thing for, maintaining your house will prevent you from having to make insurance claims. Yes, you pay for insurance. A lot of people say, if I never make a claim, I don't get to ever use it. But at the end of the day, a claim it's a headache for everyone involved. And really, it's better to just protect your house, maintain it, and you will very much see a lot less cost for you and stress if you have to make a claim.
So let's just say you do have to make a claim, because I think sometimes we struggle with, like, is this worth claiming or not claiming?
How much are they going to jack my rate if I claim this thing?
So if you do make a claim, is there like a rule of thumb? Like, let's say you have water damage on your floors in your kitchen, because I feel like that happens all the time, to me. So it's like, should we just pay and fix it ourselves because it's only going to cost, a little bit more than the deductible? Or should we claim it and have it paid for? I mean, really, do you want it to be like at least double your deductible for it to make sense? Or do you want to avoid, because essentially your homeowner's cost is going to go up if you make a claim, right?
Yeah. Most homeowners insurance policies will have you either get a surcharge or you're losing your claims-free discount. That's why your rate is going up.
Okay.
So So a lot of people, yes, it is. Yes, my rate is going up, but you're losing that discount that you've had for however long that you haven't had a claim. So I always like to welcome my clients to call me if something happens. And so let's talk about what the cost is, what's easy to repair. Is it a maintenance issue? Like, did you have shingles missing from your roof and that's why you have water? Because that's not going to be, we're not in the business of being like a warranty on your house. We want preventable and accidental types, not preventable is not the word. Accidental things, you can't avoid those. But yeah, like if you're not maintaining your roof, it's 25 years old and you had shingles missing and now you have water damage, insurance isn't going to cover that type of thing because
there's a replace your
responsibility. Yeah. But I always try to say, kind of like you were saying, like double your deductible or a couple $1,000s. So if you have $1,000 deductible, if it's a $3,000 repair is probably the threshold I would say to consider fixing it yourself.
Okay.
Good to know.
That is good to know.
Yeah.
So as far as like the cost of insurance, I mean, we obviously deal with the cost on the mortgage side as far as calculating that into the homeowner's payment. But what determines a cost? Because I mean, I see I might budget $50-$60 a month just as a general rule if I'm working on an estimate for a buyer. But then I have someone that it was a refinance. Their premium was almost $200 a month. That was incredibly high for what I see, and I see a lot of insurance. So tell us about how insurance cost is figured. And
yeah, great question. So the age of your home is going to be a factor. Basically the size is going to determine the amount of coverage you need to have on your home, the replacement cost. Credit, the amount of coverage, where it is, because we look at different zip codes. If certain zip codes tend to have more theft claims, or you have a lot more trees that fall in an area, you get more wind. Like Snoqualmie Ridge gets a ton of wind.
Oh, wow.
So they have a lot of more tree and roof things blowing off. And so,
wow, that's interesting to know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then credit, your age, and then discount. So if you have just your homeowners with that company, then you're missing out on combining your auto and a home discount. Claims free is a discount. Having a home alarm system is a discount. So all of those, a lot of things that you want to have in order kind of when you go to get a mortgage is kind of also the same things insurance wants. They want to see how old you are and how responsible you are and that type of thing, and the type of house you're buying. So older homes in the South End are going to be more expensive than a brand new construction home in Bellevue.
Does it have to do how far you are from a fire station?
Yeah, I always tell people that too.
Yeah, so based on your address, you have they call it a protection class. And so most homes are within 1,000 feet of a hydrant and within 5 miles of a fire department. So if you're outside of that, you will see a larger increase on your cost just because it's going to take the fire department longer to get to you.
Right.
So, yeah.
Huh. So the other thing, though, sometimes I've told people when I see that they have this just actually recently happened where they had a really high homeowners insurance, and I'm like, that's crazy. It shouldn't be that high for your house. I usually think $40-$50, unless depending on the price point, somewhere in there. But I'm always like, well, are you insuring some fine diamonds or art? Because if they can put that on there as a rider on their homeowners, right?
Yep.
And so that would increase your monthly premium.
Yep.
But also, what in this case, what they said is that they bundled it, but instead of reducing their homeowners, their auto insurance went way down. And so we had to flip that around a little bit. But so that's something just to be cognizant of. And, I think sometimes people, they're working with, some big insurance company, and, they're maybe not educating them exactly on what they need to do in terms of a home purchase and how they want to position, their savings and stuff to make sure that they qualify for a mortgage, because, it is part of your qualifying.
Yeah. It's important.
Yeah, so it's really
Make
important.
or break a deal for sure with the cost of it.
Yeah, it could. So, but let's talk about combining your auto and homeowners insurance. Why should you do that?
So a few parts. Obviously, the number one for most people is the savings that you're going to get with the combined discounts. The second part of that is you would have one agent. You have one person to call if anything happens. They know you, especially what's big about what I do versus calling an 800 number is that I get to know my clients. I know what their situation is. I know their 14-year-old, kids are going to be driving in a couple of years. And so that's going to make a difference on what kind of, what insurance company is going to be the right fit for you. And people's situations change. People get DUIs, people get, you have the kids that have multiple accidents and that type of thing. And so the insurance company that they had when they were just, mom and dad and no kids is going to be different when you have kids. So,
right.
So that's what we like to look at, is what's the best package for you. And sometimes it's even down to somebody wants earthquake on their home, or they want to have a lot of jewelry, or they have fine arts, or they have coin collections or wine collections and unique things. Yeah. Yeah. So sometimes people have very unique things, or their house is very unique. And so it's hard to find the right affordable insurance company. We had someone that bought a house in it was kind of Falls City. It was Falls City, almost Carnation area, but it was in this gorgeous neighborhood that they're on 3-acre plots, and it was a brand new neighborhood. And based on their protection class, that's the fire, how close you are to fire department, because it was so new, it didn't register that there was a fire department within 5 miles. And so that jacks your home insurance rate up, because they, it's going to take longer for the fire department to get there. And so what we did is, because it was brand new construction, we called the local fire department and said, hey, how close are you in reality to this neighborhood? And they're like, yeah, we're within 5 miles. So I was able to work with the underwriter to get them a much better price on their homeowners, because, we were able to say, yeah, no, they are within the 5 miles that we like. So
I like that.
Yeah, that's fantastic. That's really, really why you should use a broker. I mean, rather than just, working with an insurance company. I mean, we love when people work with brokers for the very reason, just getting your insurance information and communicating with them is so much easier than calling a 100 number to get your insurance information for your mortgage.
Yeah.
But for the client, I mean, you just talked about so many ways that it's so much more beneficial, right? Yeah. For them to work with you. Even in the beginning, like if you have an insurance claim, you would advise them on what they should do. They could call you, right?
Absolutely.
What other reasons is a benefit to work? I mean, do you shop their rate? How does that work?
Yeah, so we, for our primary auto and home, we have 6 companies that we do business with. So we can look at all of them. If you say, I want to have earthquake on my home, we know exactly which companies are going to be, the right for you. So we can look at what's the best package to combine everything, or sometimes it is a situation where they are separate, but we really like to have everything personalized to what exactly fits your needs. So we have a lot of options, and like I said, where, your situation changes, that you might be with a preferred company, and then someone gets a DUI or a reckless driving ticket, and then that means you have to move to your auto insurance to a different company.
Right.
And, so that changes a lot of things, what availability of having an umbrella, or the cost, and then you're losing your auto home discount. And so what's nice is we have multiple options. So if we need to move your whole package or just part of your package, we can do that, and you still have the same agent. We know in 3 years, when everything improves again, we know exactly what we're going to do.
You have a plan
to move you back to preferred.
Right. So you're just monitoring them. You're staying in touch, and you're making sure they have the best options available.
Yep. Absolutely.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So with so many more people buying condos now as opposed to single family, detached units, how does insurance come into play with that with regard to their HOA? Because that covers some things in a condo, right?
Great question. I always suggest anyone that's ever buying a condo, when they reach out to me and say, hey, I'm buying this place, here's my address, I need a quote, the next question I ask them is, find out what your HOA does or does not cover. There is a trend in our industry right now that a lot of homeowners associations are covering the inside structure of your individual unit. In the past, they would only cover the outside, so the roof and the walls and the framing, but then the rest was up to you. So you had to do the internal plumbing, your subfloor, your carpets, your cabinets, your fixtures, that you as a unit owner had to insure yourself. And now we are going to a trend where a lot of HOAs cover everything, but you have to meet their deductible on their master policy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So what we do is, I always suggest go back to the seller, find out what the HOA does or doesn't cover, and then that way we can figure out the right coverage for you. So if the HOA does cover and you only need to meet their deductible, we're only doing $10,000 in dwelling coverage if that's the deductible, versus covering you for $100,000 in coverage because you weren't sure, you didn't know if the HOA covers inside your unit or not.
So then does it kind of come back to almost similar to like a renter's insurance, because renters are just covering their own personal belongings within the building, right?
Yep.
So it would kind of be similar to that.
Yep. Yeah. So as a condo owner, you would have the dwelling coverage, whether you need to cover it all yourself or the HOA covers some, then we'll do, make up the difference. Then your personal items, you have loss of use. So if, say, there is a fire in your building, you have to move out, loss of use pays for you to move somewhere else.
Oh, that's important.
Great. Yeah. That's a big thing for renters that don't think about, like, what would happen if my place burned down and I had to move somewhere else. And condos are the same way. It's going to take a while for the HOA to get their insurance claim done, to get the outside structure of the building built, and then once obviously the outside's done, then you can work on the inside. But that can be a long process. So, and it's hard. Rent is expensive around here, so it's hard. It wouldn't be just easy. I could just go down the street and find somewhere else to live. So
right, yeah, I could see where that could be kind of a major hardship for somebody if they didn't have that piece covered.
Yeah. So I do find a lot of condo owners. That's a big education part of that we figure out, make sure we have the right coverage. And I do meet a lot of condo owners that think that they have everything covered because, the HOA has insurance. And it's like, no, they don't cover your stuff, and they're not going to cover if you have a fire and you have to move. That's not their responsibility. So it's important to have to talk to someone who knows the right coverage, can help you ask the right questions and get the right stuff.
Right. And that's why they should call you, Chrisy.
That's right.
Well, thank you so much for coming in studio and sharing all that great information with us. So thank you guys for tuning into Financial Fitness Northwest. When we come back, we're going to have the Riley Johnson team market update. And I think we're just going to cover a few exciting tidbits. So tune in.